You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Yeah, sure thing.
Hey, you sold that car yet?
Yeah, sold it to Carvana.
Oh, I thought you were selling to that guy.
The guy who wanted to pay me in foreign currency, no interest, over 36 months? Yeah, no. Carvana gave me an offer in minutes, picked it up, and paid me on the spot. It was so convenient.
Just like that.
Yeah?
No hassle.
None.
That is super convenient.
Sell your car to Carvana and swap hassle for convenience. Pickup fees may apply.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo. Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it.
Chris, your father is so ready right now. He's in the starting block. He's got a new haircut. He's got his shirt on, the one that makes him feel confident, and he is ready to give opinions.
I am. I got him. Let's give him. Why hold him inside? Get him out.
Okay, so the Panthers are the team that made the biggest of the acquisitions this weekend, the one that's exciting locally. How excited are you about the Panthers behaving like the Tampa Bay Lightning?
I am extremely excited about the Cats. They're good and not satisfied with winning one Stanley Cup. I think Marchand is a statement that, hey, we're winning it back-to-back, Jack. And Seth Jones, not a sexy name, the defenseman, I think was just as big a signing as Marchand, who hopefully, like Tkachuk, will be back for the playoffs.
They made a bunch of different moves. Everybody in South Florida is falling in love with Bill Zito. I'm scared of Washington. I don't know that I should be scared of anybody because they were better than everybody last year, and they're doing what the Lightning did, which is Tkachuk is off to the side. Did you guys see that one coming? Did anyone? Marchand wanted to be a Bruin for life. He was there. He's been there how many years? He's got to be the Panthers' oldest player. The Panthers can't have many guys who were born in the '80s. Bobrovsky's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. Did you guys have any idea that this was coming as soon as they stashed Tkachuk?
That Marchand was coming specifically? No. I knew that they were working on something kind of shocking from talking to folks. I never in a million years would have assumed it's Brad Marchand, who apparently only wanted to go to Florida. And Pierre LeBrun just tweeted this morning that because most of his salary was given in the form of a signing bonus, Boston retaining part of that salary, it's only going to cost the Florida Panthers $125,000 in real money to have Brad Marchand on their roster, which is solid for a fourth liner.
You are less happy with this than most people are. The thing that I liked about it, it wasn't even just that they're aggressive or they're able to do some of that salary cap magic that will allow them to bring back a healthy Tkachuk if indeed he's ready for the playoffs. To me, the most exciting part about that, in the last couple of years, you've ended the Bruins and the Rangers. They were right there with you, and you finished them both. Like, they're done. And they're done in a way that has to be soul-crushing to their fan base to see, Florida took us out in Game 7. They took us out. They finished our run. We thought we had the best team we've ever had in our life. And now the guy that we love as part of our symbol has agreed to go to them as one of, what was his no-trade? His no-trade restriction allowed him to either go to only 8 teams or veto 8 teams. Which one was it?
The reports are that the only team he said he wanted to go to was Florida. And Boston did what they could to make that happen for their captain. So a shocking acquisition. I certainly felt some kind of way about it because I don't like Brad Marchand at all as a person. As a player, I don't even really like him all that much, but it's low risk. And, yeah, the part that sweets the pot for me personally is the fact 100% you ended that Boston Bruins team, that core. You eliminated them back-to-back years, one time as an 8th seed, one time on the verge of elimination. You found a way to level it, and you just blew up their entire blueprint. So I like that. You know that you did that to the Rangers. You know that you did that to the Bruins. Pending on the Carolina Hurricanes, it seems as though Tampa kind of reshaped themselves a little bit with Jake Guentzel. But I'm never gonna like Brad Marchand. And you can quote me, even if he scores a big time goal in the Stanley Cup final, it's just never going to land right with me. It's always going to be weird. I like that I don't like him.
I don't think
I'm not ready to stop
anymore, though.
liking him.
If he wins you a game somewhere, I do not believe that you will remain entrenched in this position.
Like him. I don't like this. I don't like him. But
being able to chirp Bruins fans is going to be sick, though.
That part is funny. It's funny to watch Boston Bruins fans like Portnoy and Katie Nolan all break Pete Blackburn. All of them have their breakdowns, and he ends up going to the team that they hate, but they want to root for the guy. I saw the Dropkick Murphys were in town for a concert, and they were like, we're rooting for Florida the rest of the year.
Biz, who's a Toronto fan, just seeing the Panthers get stronger, just dejected. It's great.
Yeah, Mike's full of shit. He's going to cheer Marchand at the top of a mountaintop the first time he scores a winning goal for the Cats. And you know it. I mean, come on now.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
We played a while ago the Stephen A. Smith sound talking about Bronny, and I want to get the opinions of the fathers here in the room about what's happening, because I've heard throughout my life in journalism people say some form of there's a line on personal criticism. Don't make it personal. And the line moves, right? Because everyone's definition of what is personal is a little different. But if you attack someone's son on television and they're a professional athlete and it ends up sounding like this, you might want to prepare for the confrontation that Stephen A. found himself at the center of as the weekend began. Listen to this sound.
I'm really, really trying to be as respectful as I possibly can be towards LeBron James. One of the top 2 or 3 players in the history of basketball, number 2 in my eyes. A treasure to the game of basketball that we should and will all miss when he is gone. I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad. The first game of the season, opening night, the Griffeys in attendance, father-son duo playing in an NBA game for the first time, an absolutely positively wonderful story. And then reality sets in.
It remains jarring to see Chris Russo look that jaundiced because the lighting is that bad.
That felt like an episode of General Hospital.
I want to ask you guys about this. Where acting and entertainment start infringing on where it is that we head with some of this stuff. Because as news is leaking that Stephen A. has re-upped at ESPN for 5 years, $100 million plus, I'm going to assume that Stephen A. is going to be given some form of leeway over scheduling at ESPN, that he's going to be able to put his stuff where Around the Horn used to be. And at the game on Friday, LeBron finally courtside while Stephen A. is sitting with Ari Emanuel and Larry David, because he's climbed to a cartoon stratosphere where he's with the really famous people. And it's good for Stephen A.'s business to have LeBron confront him courtside. But I want to talk about the acting in some of this, because the sound that we played on Stephen A. was even worse than that the first time we played, because it was 3 minutes and we cut it down. But here is LeBron James talking to Richard Jefferson. I thought Richard Jefferson was security, not Richard Jefferson, because I'm just looking at it from the back.
The little earpiece, he does kind of look like a Secret Service guy.
Yeah, I thought he was complaining to security about Stephen A., but he's complaining to Richard Jefferson, a colleague of Stephen A., about this. The sound's not great, and he's covering his mouth as he learned to do down here with Dwayne Wade, but people could pick up that he's saying that the part that he's objecting to, I'm pleading with you as a father, that's the line. What's the line on personal? Tell me, when your son is a professional athlete and you're the most famous athlete in America, what's the line as a father?
I think there is no line. I think everybody in this case is right. Stephen A. Smith has every right to criticize and say what he did, not thinking that Bronny James is ever going to amount to anything. I mean, it's harsh, but if it's his truth, he's allowed to say it. It's his job to say it. I think LeBron James is perfectly entitled to get his back up because it's so personal, and I would feel the same if the role was involving myself and Christopher. I also think Bronny James is perfectly entitled to give basketball his best shot despite his father. We're going to see the same thing with Tiger Woods' kid in a couple of years as he advances in golf. People are going to write and say he's never going to beat Tiger Woods. The kid's still allowed to give it his shot.
Agreed that you have these freedoms, but I would like to have some lines here around something that has no precedent. This is not something any of us have ever seen, a son getting a shortcut to the league when he's the son of the greatest athlete in the sport and the greatest athlete economy in the sport. And we've been making content off of this family for 20 years. It continues to provide, as LeBron is the oldest player in the league, and I'm not a father. So I don't know how emotional this would make me, but I believe that doesn't cross the line. It's theatrical. It's what's being rewarded now in media. Where can you find the confrontation? Turn up your true feelings wherever they are that are at a 5. Turn them up to 10. And the confrontation courtside isn't something that Stephen A. Smith minds. In fact, he understands it. He understands why a father would go after him on that. But once his son signs professionally, I don't know what the rules are supposed to be. I legitimately don't have an understanding of where it is that you can put the line when Stephen A. Smith is saying on the front end, he's offering all the respect on the front end that softens the criticism, but then he just says flatly that this is nepotism, this is a child who does not belong in the sport. He's not even treating Bronny like an adult or a professional. He's treating him like a child that doesn't belong.
And it's up to Bronny to prove him wrong, right? I mean, it's up to Bronny to prove him wrong. That's why I get the feeling of all three principals in this matter. I don't think Stephen A's wrong. I don't think LeBron's wrong for getting his back up either, because he's talking as a father, not as a teammate.
He's also made this a lot harder for Bronny than he has to, while making it easier for Bronny than most people have, right? Because, like, everything around Bronny getting to the NBA was kind of like, okay, like, this isn't normal. Like, saying, hey, you know what, if the Lakers or if any other team drafts Bronny, he's going to go play in Australia. Like, that's not normal for someone who is in Bronny's position, right? And he goes and he plays in the first game of the year and they have the cool moment. Like, it's okay for LeBron to be mad, but it's also okay for LeBron to be wrong about being mad about this situation, because Bronny is a professional and he's not being targeted. I don't think he's only being targeted in the sense that if someone else is in Bronny's position, we wouldn't be talking about that person at all. Like, not at all. The only reason they're talking about it is because it's Bronny's son, but also because LeBron keeps kind of putting him out there saying there's no player that's better than Bronny that I'm seeing in the NBA right now. And having him partially be in the G League sometimes, then sometimes in the NBA when the G League is traveling. And, like, it's just a weird arrangement. And I think in the clips that, I mean, we haven't seen all of the Stephen A. clips, but in the clips that have been out there, Stephen A. said as much as, you know, I think that he should go to the G League and he should develop into an NBA player. I'm not saying that he's not going to be at some point in time. He's just not right now, which isn't crazy criticism, but, like, you understand why LeBron would get sensitive about that, but also he's wrong.
Let's not forget they are the highest scoring father-son duo in NBA history. I just feel like that should be said.
Yeah, I love doing that to Hank and Tommy Aaron, the most home runs hit among brothers. So wait, let's examine what it is that Billy's saying there, because He's saying LeBron's wrong, but I don't think that fathers think that other fathers are wrong in the spaces where the soft emotional stuff
I'm a father.
is.
I said he's wrong.
The father thing is so freaking flimsy to me. Everything that Billy said, like when Stephen A decided to do this, the timing was so goddamn weird because it was when Bronny was in the G League and actually playing well. Like he just rehashed something out of nowhere, and he's like, "As a father, I implore you," and all of this is made for TV. It's just dumb.
Okay, you say that, but made for TV dumb represents what percentage these days of sports content when the games aren't being played? Anybody got any theories on?
Well,
what?
I know I would like to cede my time over to Jess. I know you pose this just to fathers, but like this is a really dumb thing, and I'm kind of angry at our show for leading the show with this really dumb thing.
I'm a father of a daughter, but she's a dog, and also I'm a mother of her, but.
That doesn't make you a father or a mother.
Then I'll wait until the next segment.
Okay.
I would like Jess's opinion.
Well, she doesn't want to give it, and I can't force her to give it.
It's very
And Mike-
progressive
Mike-
of you.
Mike
Well, you
can't
know, you
force her
didn't want to give it to
The
me.
gambit
You said
was
when the show
dads.
started, you want to hear from all the dads, which is literally everyone except me. So I'm gonna wait
And
until
me.
that's no
And
longer.
me.
Well, Dan gave his opinions.
I disagree with Mike. I think it's a very valid conversation to have. I think it interests a lot of people, fathers and non-fathers, parents and non-parents. And the rule of thumb with athletes, right, is always my family's off limits. Okay, criticize me all you want, but don't bring my family into your whole media circus.
Not when they're on the roster.
Well, that's the
This
thing.
is
That's where the
different.
line
That's my point.
changes.
He's more than just family. He's a teammate. He's trying to be an NBA player. He's volunteered to follow in the biggest footsteps in sports. So it's way beyond family, LeBron.
It's funny, though, that we can all acknowledge, wow, that was a shortcut to get to the NBA, obviously. But then upon arrival, it's a little bit harder for him than it is for most because of everything that surrounds him.
Well, the thing that's dumb about it, right, is that like the NBA is full of fringe players as like the last person on the roster who just don't get playing time and basically just sit on the bench all the time, right? And like that's fine if the Lakers want that to be Bronny's role, but you're really costing him development. Like if you actually are taking him seriously as an NBA prospect, an NBA player, it suits him better to actually get legitimate playing time in the G League than just being a fringe player that plays in blowouts or sits on the bench for the Lakers just so he can be on the team with his dad and he can check in and they can have that cool fabricated moment every once in a while. Like if you want him to actually develop LeBron, it's better for him to play and develop than be a meaningless player on this team.
Well, let me ask you this, though. Develop what? Because
His
if it's,
game, I
well,
mean-
but if it's just basketball, fine. But if it's the business of being a James and be around,
That's not a thing.
Well,
Like, that's not a real thing.
Kids follow around their dads in employment all of the time to
But
learn
daddy's
the
going
business.
to be done in 2 years, and then what? Like,
Well-
if he wants to be his own man and he wants to be in the league, he should develop as a player. And there's stories of players who go and develop in the G League and then come out and are productive NBA players. He's wasting time, honestly, of development if he's just sitting on the roster for them to continue to have these moments. Look how cool it is they're on the floor together.
He's bound to fail, right? Bronny is, and he must know it more acutely than anyone does. 2 years from now, he may be playing on a team in China. It doesn't mean he's a failure. He's only a failure relative to the impossible footsteps of his father. If Bronny James is in business school right now, studying to be a CPA.
He is in business school right now.
If he's studying to be a CPA and wants nothing to do with basketball, it's not like Stephen A. Smith is criticizing him then by saying he's afraid of the footsteps. He should be in the NBA. No, he's in the NBA or trying to be, so it's valid criticism.
Mike is not wrong when he looks at all of this and says after 20 years of LeBron coverage, really? OKC beats Denver by 20 yesterday. Cleveland is in the middle of its third more than 12-game winning streak of the season. And I think we would all acknowledge that a Cleveland OKC final is a disaster for the sport, even though those are the two best teams.
I mean, don't get me wrong. As a father, I also don't want to talk about Oklahoma City, Cleveland matching up in the NBA final. I think the most interesting thing that's happening in the sport is still like the ramifications of the Luka trade, what it's done to the Dallas market, how they've totally unraveled there. I think that's like an interesting drama, and LeBron is a part of that. This one just seems entirely manufactured from the timing. I think we all know what this is. If you wanted to keep LeBron James in purple and gold, part of the deal was you were going to pay his son $8 million and try to develop him in your franchise, and everything else around it is just BS. Howdy, everybody. It's Mike Ryan. Have you heard of Goldbelly? I hope you have, because that means you listen to our show and you know how much I love this amazing site that I order from all the time, where you can get some of the most iconic, famous foods from restaurants all across the U.S., and they will ship it to your front door for free anywhere in the country. I'm telling you, I've received iconic foods from all across the country. Wings, barbecue. It doesn't matter. Goldbelly has me covered. Goldbelly will ship you iconic deep dish pizza from Chicago, from Lou Malnati's, or New York's best, most famous cheesecake from Junior's. If you're craving barbecue, they ship the legendary Franklin's Barbecue straight from Texas to your door. And you have to try the one and only world-renowned stone crab delivered from Joe's right here in Miami. Whether it's a dish from that one-of-a-kind restaurant or meals from world-famous chefs, Goldbelly has you covered. So, if you're looking for that perfect gift, or want to impress your friends and family with an epic meal the next time you host, go to goldbelly.com and get free shipping and 20% off your first order with promo code DAN. That's goldbelly.com, code DAN, for free shipping and 20% off your first order.
All right, I know I got to do this ad read, but hold on. Let me reapply. Did you hear that? Yep, that's my new favorite lip gloss from NYX Cosmetics. Now I'm ready to talk to you. I've been a huge fan of NYX Cosmetics for many years now. In fact, I use their Thick It, Stick It brow gel every single day. So you can imagine my excitement when we recently received a special delivery to the Batard studios from our friends over at NYX Cosmetics. And there it was. When I opened the box, glowing, I heard the angels sing, "Ah." It's their latest lip gloss fat oil lip drip. It's NYX Cosmetics' first lip oil of its kind. This creamy lip oil will have your lips dripping with fat perks. You get all the shine of a lip gloss and none of the stickiness while experiencing 12-hour hydration. I'm usually a matte lip gloss kind of gal. My normal go-to is NYX Cosmetics lip gloss, the Lingerie XXL. But after applying the status update shade, I have found my new go-to lip gloss. Fat Oil Lip Drip has high shine finish with comfortable wear and none of the sticky texture. A lip product that's hydrating, non-sticky, and only $9? Now that's a win. Try Fat Oil Lip Drip from NYX Professional Makeup. Available in 14 universally flattering shades. Find your perfect Fat Oil Lip Drip. Shop now at nyxcosmetics.com or a retailer near you.
If you're a small business owner, you know how difficult it can be hiring the right people. And it can be a real grind. It takes the right partner to make sure you're getting the most qualified candidates. Well, got the right partner for you. LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, and we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. So, if you're a small business owner looking for the perfect hire, LinkedIn has you covered. With LinkedIn's new job posting feature, you can write job descriptions effortlessly and get your job in front of the right people using deep candidate insights. Quality matters. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small businesses using LinkedIn say it helps them find top talent. Join over 2.5 million small businesses using LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire only on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Don Batard.
Our Panther group chat, we're confident against the Lightning. This is a different team.
Yeah. You're a Panther group chat, though.
No, I think no, but dude, you're so wrong on that. We've been terrified of this team forever, and I think there's a different energy where the Panthers, they want the Lightning.
Stugotz.
I want t-shirts made for this Panther run. What could be this Panther run? Our Panther group chat, we're not afraid of the Lightning.
That's a tagline for World War 3.
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
We will get to what is happening in Dallas in a second. Dallas yesterday finished the game with 7 healthy players. Started with 9, finished with 7. It's been an unmitigated disaster in Dallas. But this back and forth yesterday, because there are other things happening in basketball. Golden State is 11-1 when Jimmy Butler plays. Can you give me the stat of the day here real quick? Speaking of Golden State, if you could just play the short version of the stat of the day real quick.
Start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, it is the start of the
Stat of the day is presented by Miller Lite.
Steph Curry has not lost at Madison Square Garden in about 4,400 days. It was 4,388 about 12 days ago, but I don't know if it was exactly 12 days ago. So it's about 4,400 straight days. And if you're looking for more NBA drama, Skip Bayless says, quote, "The more I watch him at age 36, the more KD looks mentally semi-retired to me." To which Kevin Durant responds, "Bleep it. We're both washed, Skip. It was a great run." Perfect.
Was a good run.
Perfect
both.
Response to that. Let's play some Free Nico chants that are breaking out all over Dallas.
Well, Fire Nico.
I'm sorry. Fire Nico. That Free Nico is totally different. Yeah. Fire Nico. Let's play some of those.
He may feel like it's a freedom of sorts.
This is that FC Dallas game.
How much of this do we have? Because basically, at this point, Nico exists as a name only to be 2 syllables in chants.
Now we go over to medieval times in Dallas, where they were also chanting Fire Nico.
Are they jousting? Is there a joust? Come on, medieval times can't still be doing well.
Big year last year.
It's medieval time. That doesn't look like it's doing that well from the crowd there. What are they preparing? Are they waiting for a joust? Is that what they're waiting
this
for?
This seems pre-joust.
I want to ask you guys a serious question, okay? Because we laughed about the idea of trading Luka because of beer and hookah, but I want to ask you guys seriously. If you have to make a $300 million investment in a 25-year-old, where's your line on too much beer and hookah? Like, if it's your money and you've got to make sure that that body is still right at 34, the way that it was at 24, what's too much beer and hookah if that's the reason that they traded him? What's the amount that I have to put in front of you where I say you've got a 25-year-old superstar, but you're willing to trade him and make your fan base, your customers, really angry on the loyalty front because you're going to tell them, I'm afraid of his beer and hookah habit?
Me, I want a happy player who I trust to perform and to be in shape enough to perform. I'm not gonna make him go on a scale once a week so that he doesn't gain 3 pounds. If he's performing on the court, do your thing. That's why we're paying.
But what about the investment going forward, though? Because there are any number of players in there. I remember the Marlins had this fear with Miguel Cabrera because he would show up at photo shoots.
They were wrong.
Yeah, they were wrong. He would show up at photo shoots and he would, have too much to drink, and they were worried about how it is that would age, and they didn't have to worry about it until he got into his late 30s. But if it's a concern that's expressed in the fitness arena, and if Luka has if we're willing, all of us as people with, Cheeto dust on our fingers watching the games to say, hey, Luka's body at 25 doesn't look like he's taking care of it as scientifically as a professional athlete in the modern age would.
Okay, but if you're worried about Luka staying on the court, why did you trade for Anthony Davis?
Fair enough. Mark Cuban said he would be having a different conversation. He said they got too little. First public comments from Mark Cuban. Says they got too little, and if it had been exactly what they got, plus 4 unconditional first-round picks, then people would have been having a different conversation. around this. They did not make something that was better for their future anywhere except creating salary cap space.
Helpful, Mark Cuban. Yes, if they got a much better deal in return, fewer people would be upset. Wholeheartedly agree.
How does he still exist in this world where like he sold the team, but he's like we're still craving his thoughts and opinions?
These are late though. These arrived.
Well, because everyone also publicly is saying, "Hey, Mark, shut up, stop talking." Like everywhere he's trying to help someone talk, they're like, "Oh, Mark, a little less talking, please."
I'm sure
like,
that's part of the agreement, don't you think? Part of the agreement for the sale is like, I'm not going to be in the public space. It's kind of like when historically a president leaves office, they kind of disappear for a little bit and respect the transition of power, and they don't pop up because they know what that job's like, and it's a courteous thing to do.
I have not heard a whole lot of George Bush's opinions on how it is that he feels about Donald
Trump. Came out of hiding. He literally just put something out from his presidential library about Ukraine specifically. And, I mean, you can do some digging and know exactly where the Bush family sides by their absence at stuff and whatnot. There were a lot of legacy Republicans that weren't at the RNC. Amazing way to make this political, but I think I'm the one to blame there. But, like, even he came out for the Russia-Ukraine thing. But historically, people that share that office kind of just go off into the distance and don't often offer up criticisms of whoever just replaced them.
That's an ego thing by them, right? Because like, who wakes up in 2025 and says, you know what, I really wonder what George Bush thinks about this issue?
Well, in this one, I can understand.
I mean, Bush did not endorse the Republican candidate in the last election, which is in and of itself is a pretty jarring statement. But getting back to Luka for just a minute, the time to worry about his health habits and his future conditioning is when you're negotiating the contract and signing him. It's not after you lavish him with this deal and then you're second guessing. Hey, you look a little chubby, Luka. Well,
they didn't lavish him with the biggest of the deals, though. The Supermax deal is the one that was on the table. Like they didn't. The deal they had him under was relatively at value.
But my point is, when you negotiate any contract, especially a bigger one, that's what you put into the contract. You can't go skydiving. Please don't ride a motorcycle. Stay healthy. Do this. Do
you can't
that.
say anything about beer and hookah, though.
Sure, you can.
You can't.
You can negotiate anything in a contract.
You can't. Not a collectively bargained contract. You can't control how much or when someone is drinking. You can have some of their freedoms where there are liabilities, where there are dangers. You can't negotiate beer or absence of beer into a contract.
What are we doing with hookah? Is it because like it's got a long cord to it, so it maybe signifies that someone appears lazier when they're doing it? Because I would have more of an issue with cigarettes than with a hookah.
Okay, what I'm doing with hookah is just general late night snacking. I'm just if you're into the beer and the hookah, then you're probably eating snacks at midnight that aren't clean salmon protein.
I don't think it gives you munchies.
I'm not saying munchies. I'm just saying late night habits. I'm not even talking about there's some sort of link between hookah and snacks. I'm talking about there's link between hookah and beer and midnight and snacks.
I think you're doing general body posture when you're smoking a hookah. It's just often people lean back and they're just very cash about it, as opposed to someone standing upright just taking a big rip off a dart.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. If someone is dabbling in beer and hookah at midnight, do you assume they're also snacking? Yes or no?
I thought hookah was like a taboo thing for teenagers. Like, there's full-grown adults that are smoking hookahs.
Yeah, there's hookah bars. I don't have an issue with it. But, yeah, it does give off a little Snorlax type of vibe more than cigarettes does.
You guys are, I'm sorry, but you guys are doing something here that I'm not doing. This is all about the general vibes around hookah. The area rug that's there when you go inside.
That's what I'm assuming you're doing.
Yes.
Sultany.
I'm just
Go on and say it. It reminds you of a sultan.
A sloppy...
And there aren't many skinny sultans.
A sloppy sultan who doesn't have a lot of discipline in his life, or a lot of people who tell him not to snack at midnight.
You just love that hookah rhymes with Luka.
I do love that.
That's where it begins.
You don't have many players throughout...
Luka Doncic.
You don't have many players throughout basketball history that rhyme this perfectly with hookah. You got an NFL wide receiver named Puka, but you don't have a lot of options here when it comes to rhyming with hookah. The Cleveland Cavaliers, the aforementioned Cleveland Cavaliers, are retiring Kevin Love's 0.
Wow.
They're retiring Kevin Love's number. They made that so miserable for him while he was there. He was so unhappy while he was there, except when they were holding up the trophy. He had no idea what he was signing up for. He was enjoying being the league's leading rebounder, being the leading scorer on the 8th-seeded Minnesota Timberwolves. He gets traded to Cleveland, and now his legacy is secure in Cleveland. His number 0 is going to be retired forever.
I think I know I was guilty of it. I was doing the direct comparison to how bad I felt the Heat got it, and all the supporting cast of characters. Like, Bosh had it way more difficult than Kevin Love ever did. He had a relatively charmed existence when compared directly to Chris Bosh. However, in a vacuum, it didn't seem fun. Didn't seem fun for Kevin Love, having to be subtweeted occasionally by LeBron James. Whoever's running Kevin's socials still seems to remember that.
They're probably retiring his jersey now because they're afraid of what the person running his social is going to say soon, and they're not going to be able to retire in like a year. Why are they retiring it while he's active? That's weird, right? Like on another team.
They're trying to get LeBron back. That's why they did the whole like Zydrunas Ilgauskas thing. Like you're retiring this jersey just because you want LeBron in the barn.
I'd be more hesitant to retire my 0. Well, maybe I should be less hesitant to retire my 0 because so few players are going to want the 0. I would think that the 0 is something that you'd want to protect more than the other numbers, but maybe I have that wrong. There aren't that many 0s in the history of basketball.
Why wouldn't they do this for? It's actually gained popularity. Gilbert Arenas was huge for that number. I think you'll look at most rosters and find 0s. It's become in vogue. But, I think that if they're retiring any active players, why don't they retire LeBron's?
Too many numbers being retired in sports. I really believe that. And I think basketball's a bigger culprit than most sports. I'm looking at the career record of Kevin Love. He made 2 All-Star teams with Cleveland. His best years were with Minnesota. I just don't see that he's an all-time great for the Cavaliers. I really don't.
Dude, he won a championship. And remember, he was actually playing lockdown defense at the end for Steph Curry. Key contributor on a championship team with Hall of Fame in his future. That guy's getting his jersey retired.
I don't tend to tell regional entities that have a personal relationship with their athletes when they should or shouldn't retire someone's number or should or shouldn't put up a statue. I'm not particularly interested in policing any of those things. I did just notice that Kevin Love seems to be on the line where some people like Greg would say that's a bridge too far. I just don't think that when in your town you have Udonis Haslem, thank you, Billy, that you can say anything to anybody else about what a personal relationship is with an athlete, because I think Udonis might be on the cusp of getting a statue, not just a number retired.
Yeah, that might be a bridge too far, as you called it. But
is that a report?
Udonis, like, he's career leader across like some very important stats for what has become, like, since its inception, a storied NBA franchise in Miami. You can understand that. I can certainly understand Kevin Love. How long was he in Cleveland for? 6 seasons? He made it to an All-Star game twice in that uniform, won an NBA championship, was the third most important player. Yeah, I get it, but they also had 2 pretty great ones on their team. That's an easy jersey retirement.
Yeah, 8 seasons, 2 All-Star games. To me, that's not jersey retirement. In the case of UD, that's the father of Heat culture. That's the embodiment of Heat culture, and Heat culture has become such a brand with this franchise that you've got to honor the guy who you think
the rest of the country would laugh at the idea of Udonis being respected that way.
Well, tough shit for the rest of the country. He's also the all-time rebounding leader, I believe.
He is.
And so that's not nothing.
Is there a way to raise? Is there a way to raise the culture to the rafters?
No.
Like, what would we raise?
Just Udonis. Just put him. Put him in the rafters.
String him up.
Just sit. No, we're not gonna. We're just gonna sit him up.
No,
there.
Greg.
Right.
There will
Dan
be
brought us here.
There will be no stringing of anybody
you put a
up.
rope under his arm.
No. We're fine.
I blame Dan for this.
Greg, you know what I was thinking would be more meaningful? Instead of retiring the number 0, what if the Cavs just said, you know what? We're retiring Love. We will never have another player named Love on our team. And you just start retiring last names. So no one with that name can ever play for your team again because that's how meaningful they were.
After Dan Gilbert's letter, they should have retired Haight. They should have just we put that letter in the rafters and retire hate forevermore in Cleveland, the way that they retired unity in Kansas City when they started their Super Bowl run. Can we get some of Billy's calls from the weekend? Because I was told that Billy made another secret foray with very little fanfare, very little publicity into calling FIU baseball, and I'm told that we not only have a 2-minute montage on all Billy things being just maximum Billy, but we also have, and Greg Cody was sent this, but he couldn't access it because Yeti sent it to him. He couldn't actually hear what was a legendary home run call during the FIU-FAU game that we'll get to after the 2-minute montage here of Billy just being maximum Billy.
Not an ideal start. I don't know what I just said. LaPointe's not a threat to run at second base. If I'm Rundy, if I'm FIU, I just pay him no mind, even if he's dancing off second base. Just go right after LaRue here. They're not even covering second, so.
They understand the assignment from Billy Gill. And it's ball one here from Rundy.
Must be blasting through the speakers today, you know?
These guys do hear what we say.
Oh, no.
They go back and listen to the broadcast. Both teams do.
Uh-oh.
So bear that in mind.
You guys are all trying your best.
Amazing how the tone switches. He goes from the guy's not a threat to run to, wow, tremendous effort.
Yeah.
A little thing called accountability.
Good double, Dylan. No betting.
The mathematics of 3 more than 1, but no betting.
Yeah, on baseball. Pete Rose learned that the hard way, Corey.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's going to get pardoned. Or whatever. Payoff pitch. Hildy goes after it. Littman's got back-to-back Ks.
Crowd roaring.
He's going to get pardoned or whatever. Kindness, I think, was appropriate.
You can dive in more if you want.
I mean, I think you nailed it. Pardoned or whatever.
Last week we were talking about the new FIU Vice hat.
Okay, that's different.
Which carried over to the midweek game where we had a conversation about the Vice hat.
Mm-hmm.
Ball one. So in reality,
okay,
we're discussing caps probably about half the games to this point in the year.
Yeah. And that's no cap.
What's that mean?
You know what, Corey, if you don't know.
Yes? I'm just old?
I'm not going to tell you.
It's all right. Fortunately, I do know what cap means.
Do you?
I do. Cap, Riz, skibbity toilet.
What?
Knocked down by Andrews. A little PFP work right out of the gate. 1 pitch, 1 out. Andrews helping it himself.
Well, PFPI gala, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
We will get to this home run call involving a legend in a moment, but I just want to play the astute and expansive elaboration from Billy, who decides this is the time he's going to be efficient instead of yammering and wordy when asked or bringing up the pardon of Pete Rose.
Sorry, he's going to get pardoned. Or whatever.
That's good commentary from Billy entering the political waters with excellent color commentary. Play that the whole thing again so that the play-by-play man could see and hear how little support he has from his color man here.
Sorry, he's going to get pardoned. Or whatever.
Chris, how do you feel about this home run call that your father has not yet heard?
I love it. I mean, it's nice to, like, whenever you have, like, FAU here in the home run call, they pay respect to an FAU legend, and it's just cool to see that they can do that type of thing.
First home run. That kind of swing, that kind of thing in Florida Atlantic. A power surge on getaway day.
And you know it.
That whole thing is such a pathetic home run call. There's no crowd noise. There's Billy setting up and selling the Greg Cody home run call. Let me hear the whole thing again.
His first home run. That kind of swing, that kind of thing in Florida Atlantic. A power surge on getaway day.
And you know it.
Oh, that's great.
You did call him a foul owl on the prowl earlier, too.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a big day for you yesterday, Greg.
I'm telling you what, that goes right on my tombstone.
What?
It does?
Yeah, yeah.
You've said that over the course of the last few years about 3 dozen
It's a
things.
crowded
It's getting
tombstone.
your tombstone.
Well, hold on a second. For the record, let's mark up your tombstone right now, just so that worst case scenario, we don't botch this. What would you like it to say?
I guess the lead would have to be 8-time PFPI champion.
Okay.
For now.
Where's I eat butt all the time?
Maybe the back of the tombstone.
Hell yeah.
Near the dirt.
Yeah, that's a good place for it.
I wasn't even thinking of those terms.
You weren't, were
No,
you?
that kind of thing.
Okay, excellent.
That kind of life.
Yeah.
You heard mentioned on there the Miami Vice hats, which brings up some new hats that are now out of stock all over the internet. This Texas baseball cap that replaces the X with a T for tetas, the Spanish word, the strongest and most offensive of the Spanish words for boobs, because I don't think the other word I can't say. It's one of the 7 words you're not allowed to say on broadcast, evidently. I can't. Can I say that?
That still exists, those 7
Let's
words?
just not. Let's not.
Yeah,
I say roll the dice.
Don't take his advice, but I also don't know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
So
That's
partly,
That's why I'm curious. We
do
can
me a
bleep it
favor.
after. I just
Write
want
it
to
down
learn.
on an index card
Yeah.
and just slide it over to me.
I mean, 4 letters and 2 T's like tetas, except in English.
Yeah, just whisper it, and that way it won't be as bad.
Let's look at
you can say that.
Let's look at the pioneering hat that created the tetas hat, which is this A's hat that is also a great hat that just adds an S to the A's hat and makes it ass, so that now we have 2 hats that are T and A.
This was a part of a whole new design for New Era, where they would take one of the logos and just slap it in the middle of a script logo. And for some teams, it works kind of cool. Like Chicago is all right. Cincinnati makes some sense. But some teams like the Mariners are unfortunate because you just have a hat that says Masters on it. There's also an Angels hat that kind of looks really close to anals. But the best one, and the one that has certainly already received quite a bit of fanfare and is now out of stock, is tetas.
You've tried to get it?
Yeah, I tried to purchase it because that's a hilarious hat, and someone clearly didn't know what they were doing. Yeah. You got to have someone bilingual across that. You have a hat that says boobs, essentially, which is going to be mad popular, and it already has been. But some of these designs, the quality control really makes you think.
Chris, play that home run call again, please.
Or your U2 volume slider. First pitch swinging. Driven to center. With pace. The foul owl on the prowl, John Schroeder.
Yeah.
His first home run. That kind of swing, that kind of thing in Florida Atlantic. A power surge on getaway day.
And you know it.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike Ryan. I talk to you about Miller Time all the time, but we're in the wintertime right now, and one of my favorite pastimes is to crack open a Miller Lite and enjoy myself some Miller Time during the wintertime, because when there's a brisk chill in the air, it just makes everything right. My friends and I, who live down here in South Florida, can actually sit outside because it's not super muggy. We can thoroughly enjoy our Miller Time together. And for you listening, I know there's a lot of things going on right now. Sports, chief among them. Nothing more important than sports. From basketball and hockey to game night, winter means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great-tasting light beer for people who love beer. Now's the perfect time for friends, family, and a great-tasting light beer. Taste like Miller Time. And you know Miller Lite is brewed for taste. It hits different than other light beers, and at just 96 calories and 3.2 grams of carbs per 12 ounces, Miller Time is always a good time. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. If you're a small business owner, you know how difficult it can be hiring the right people. And it can be a real grind. It takes the right partner to make sure you're getting the most qualified candidates. Well, got the right partner for you. LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, and we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. So, if you're a small business owner looking for the perfect hire, LinkedIn has you covered. With LinkedIn's new job posting feature, you can write job descriptions effortlessly and get your job in front of the right people using deep candidate insights. Quality matters. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small businesses using LinkedIn say it helps them find top talent. Join over 2.5 million small businesses using LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire only on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/DLS. That's linkedin.com/DLS to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.